Let's see if we can enjoy the latest games of 2024 on a 4K screen using the RTX 4070 graphics card. I've paired it with the Ryzen 5 7600X CPU and the 4K 240Hz MSI 321URX gaming monitor. Actually, this will be the first time I'm using an OLED monitor, so I'm excited about that. I'll definitely let you know what I think about this monitor later on in this video. Oh, and the graphics card is GIGABYTE WINDFORCE OC RTX 4070. Here is what it looks like up close. Check it out. It is quite simple, but it's a budget-friendly model, so we shouldn't expect much of it. I have something special to share with you today. It's the 100-watt Ugreen Nexo charger. With 3 USB-C ports and 1 USB-A port, you can charge up to 4 devices at the same time. Or plug in a single device for up to 100 watts of power, enough to juice up your M2 MacBook Air to 55% in under 30 minutes. Fast charging is compatible with most devices, including MacBooks, iPhones, iPads, Steam Deck, as well as various Android devices and more. Packing light? No problem. Thanks to GaN chip technology and a foldable plug, the Ugreen Nexo charger is compact and portable, making it perfect for travel or keeping up with your busy life. Furthermore, it is safe and reliable thanks to dynamic temperature sensors and an intelligent PWM chip that adjusts power outputs to safeguard your devices. Check out the Ugreen Nexo 100-watt charger and get 44% off at the link in the description below. We are in Hellblade 2 and let's start our test at native 4K resolution using the highest graphics quality preset, which is high. FYI, this preset includes ray tracing. And right from the start, this does not look good. 25 FPS and we haven't even descended into the worst case scenario area, which is this right here. 18 FPS I've seen just then, 18 FPS, 17 FPS, so yeah, it definitely won't do. We are not going to be able to play this game at native resolution using the 4070. If we are looking to achieve a consistent 60+ FPS experience even in worst case scenarios, then we will have to use DLSS resolution upscaling and possibly even frame generation. Let's start with DLSS set to performance mode. Frame generation is disabled for now, but we'll take a look at that later on. Just a reminder that when you select DLSS performance mode on a 4K monitor, that means that you're upscaling from 1080p up to 4K. And generally, it looks pretty good. In terms of performance, we're getting close to 50 FPS in this area right here. Oh, 49 just then. So that tells me that it will not be enough to get a consistent 60+ FPS experience. However, due to the way this game plays, I think most of you will be fine if you see 40+ FPS on the screen. But obviously it is not ideal. So even using DLSS performance mode, we do need the help of frame generation, it appears so. Because from time to time we're getting dips below 40. From here, there's 2 ways we can go about improving the FPS. That is either using frame generation or reducing graphics quality preset. Let's start with reducing graphics quality preset down to medium, because even on medium this game looks amazing. Just a reminder that DLSS is still set to performance. And take a look at this. This is what we want to see. Above 60 FPS in most cases, but it appears that there are dips below 60 from time to time. There we go, 58 just then, 57. Will it drop further? No, it appears to be fine. I think that this kind of performance is perfect. In worst case scenarios we are dropping just below 60, and in other scenes we're getting well above 60. So That is pretty good in my opinion. Another way we can try and achieve that kind of performance is by going back to high quality graphics preset and simply enabling frame generation to help us out. DLSS is still set to performance. This looks promising. Above 70 FPS in this location, but the main question is, will it drop below 60 here? We're staying above 60. Yes, 60 exactly. Will it drop? 59. But briefly, very briefly, the FPS dropped to 59. This is a good experience. The image is nice and fluid, and the controls latency is absolutely fine. By the way, this game is best played with a controller, not keyboard and mouse. There's one more settings configuration I would like to try. Let's set DLSS upscaling to balanced, keep frame generation on, and let's keep the graphics preset on high. I want to know if we can use DLSS balanced purely because if you are gaming on a 4K 32-inch screen, like this monitor right here, then having DLSS unbalanced is a little bit better than on performance mode, because we'll be able to see a little bit more of those finer details. It's not that DLSS performance looks bad at 4K, it looks fine. It's just that balanced or quality, for obvious reasons, look much better. And we are still getting above 50 FPS. I think that this is a perfectly fine experience. I don't have a problem playing this game like so. It's a shame that this graphics card is falling just a little bit short when it comes to its compute power to actually be able to play this game on DLSS balanced with frame generation on, using the highest graphics quality preset at a consistent 60 FPS experience. Yeah, that's just not happening. You have to use DLSS performance. It's just not a good sign for the future, because there will be a lot more demanding games like this one here in 2025, for example. And if you are thinking about buying the RTX 4070 now, then I assume that you are planning to keep it at least for 1 year. That's when the 4070 Super might be the better option. I plan on comparing the two GPUs, so stay tuned for that video. But if you do want to keep using DLSS balanced with frame generation enabled, then you will have to lower that graphics quality preset. Let's enable medium preset and take a look at the performance. And there we go, 80 plus in this scene. And I think we will be able to keep that FPS well above 60. Yep, judging by the performance here, it will be 70 plus. This is pretty nice. This is another viable settings configuration if you want to play this game using the RTX 4070 at 4K. Ghost of Tsushima is an easier game to run, so let's keep our graphics preset on very high throughout the whole time we are going to test this game. We will just be playing around with frame generation and DLSS resolution upscaling. But first, let's check out what the 4070 can do at native 4K resolution in this game. In the Golden Temple area, we're getting 40 plus FPS. But this is a fast-paced game with a lot of combat, so I prefer having my FPS sit well above 60. Have a look at that VRAM counter. We are nearing the 11 GB mark. It has peaked at 11.44 GB. Now let's try DLSS set to quality. Well, achieving 60 plus FPS experience was pretty easy in this game. All it took is just enabling DLSS quality mode. DLSS resolution upscaling looks very good in this game, and I would normally enable DLSS quality anyway, regardless of which GPU I'm using, even if it was the RTX 4090. Now let's check if we can get a 120 FPS experience in this game. Let's enable frame generation and keep DLSS on quality for now. We are very far away from our target. At the moment, 80 plus FPS experience. So let's keep going. Let's enable DLSS balanced. And that is still not enough. We got closer to 90 FPS, but we still need more. We need a lot more performance to get to that 120 FPS target. So let's try DLSS performance mode. And we are getting closer. It's 100 FPS right now. But nah. It is not possible to achieve 120 FPS with the RTX 4070 in this game. And the CPU is not the problem, because it can keep up, and I've used the Ryzen 5 7600X previously with another graphics card to achieve that 120 FPS. One last thing we can try is AMD's frame generation instead of NVIDIA's DLSS frame generation, because you can use DLSS resolution upscaling in this game paired with AMD's FSR 3 frame generation. And that AMD frame generation actually got us closer to that 120 FPS target, but still, we are not quite there yet. So yeah, once again, the 4070 falls just a little bit short in terms of performance. It could use a little bit more oomph. Let's move on to the next game. This is Horizon Forbidden West, and we are going to use very high graphics quality preset. Let's start with native 4K resolution, no DLSS upscaling or frame generation. And the performance is around 40 FPS. Yeah, this is not perfect for this game. I really want to see at least 60 FPS in this game. It should be nice and fluid to enjoy it. The image feels just a little bit too choppy for my liking. Let's try DLSS set to quality first. And yes, this is nice. 60 plus FPS right here. Very good. Basically, this game performs really similarly to Ghosts of Tsushima, while I think that this game looks more beautiful than that one. Don't get me wrong, Ghost of Tsushima still looks pretty good, especially all the nature, but Horizon Forbidden West is newer, and it shows. However, there will be scenes in the game where the FPS will drop below 60 using these settings, so I think we have to use a more aggressive resolution upscaling. I think DLSS set to balanced should get the job done. Let's return to that tavern outside. The performance looks good, 60 plus. And let's see if we can manage to stay above 60 inside of the building here. Yes, indeed. We're getting 60, exactly 60 FPS. But this is one of the most demanding scenes I found in this game. So even if it drops slightly below 60, it is still fine. I mean, you're not gonna be doing any combat in this area right here. So it's okay. Most of the time you will be spending outside, roaming the landscape, and out here you can expect well above 60 FPS. The game uses 11 gigabytes of video memory and 13.4 gigabytes DRAM memory. That's system memory, your DDR. So there is a little bit of memory left over if you want to use frame generation. Let's try it. Let's see if we can achieve that 60 plus FPS experience if we set DLSS back to quality and enable frame generation. The FPS looks good. Yes. 70 plus outside, and will it drop below 60? No, Look at this. It stays well above 60. Even 1% lows are at 58. This is a good experience. If you want your game to look as sharp as possible, then I think that this is the way to play Horizon Forbidden West. DLSS set to quality and frame generation enabled. If I were playing this game using the RTX 4070, I would use DLSS set to balanced, no frame generation. While frame generation looks absolutely fine in this game, I just think that resolution upscaling is doing a better job, especially if you like your controls to be as responsive as possible. But even with frame generation, this experience is absolutely beautiful. I am enjoying it. However, that frame time stutter, that's a little bit concerning, and we are using a little bit more DRAM, which means that some assets are actually spilling over into RAM instead of being kept in video memory. That may cause some issues with the performance, like little hiccups. But as you've seen just now, it doesn't appear to be happening often. However, to ensure that maximum stability, I still prefer using resolution upscaling only without frame generation, because this is a 12GB graphics card and frame generation does eat up a lot of video memory, as you can see there. Yeah, it's just... I really wish Nvidia would have made these graphics cards with 16GB of memory. While 12GB in 2024 is absolutely fine so far, it does begin to show that there are some small hiccups here and there that, you know, are pushing me towards not using frame generation, even though it's one of the main features of the RTX 40 series graphics cards. And just then, you've seen that frame time spike, and I felt it on the screen as well. Yeah, not very nice, because this could have been avoided if Nvidia granted this graphics card more video memory. And as we move to other locations, that stuttering still happens. So yeah, that just tells me that using frame generation in this game is a no-go, at least for me, because I don't like stutters. In conclusion, it is still very much possible to use the RTX 4070 to have a good time in all of the latest games on a 4K monitor. However, cracks do begin to show. In Hellblade 2 we had to use frame generation to have a good time. So yeah, even DLSS performance mode is sometimes not enough if you want to use the highest graphics quality presets. With that said, I think that the 4070 Super is a better option if you are looking to buy this. Just grab the 4070 Super instead. It costs just $50 more and it has a significantly better performance, which will come in handy if you are playing on a 4K monitor. Speaking of the monitor, I am absolutely loving this MSI OLED monitor. Yeah, the colors are absolutely beautiful, the response time, motion clarity, I am very impressed. There's my 4K VA panel monitor right there, also by MSI, and I do not want to go back to that once I've tried this OLED beauty. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, then you can buy them at the links in the description below. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about all this, about the 4070 performance, and about OLED gaming monitors as well. Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried one? Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, then give it a like and subscribe for more if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.